Hello and welcome. Today, author R.T. Cagle shares another inspiring story from the Bedtime Stories with Heart and Soul series, written to help you slow down, reflect, and end the day with a little more peace. Now, here's the author.
Hello, my name is author R.T. Cagles. Today's story is called Quest for Honesty. So, let's get started. In a small town nestled between rolling hills and ancient woods, honesty was not a trait people took lightly. The town of Greendale was known for its proud tradition of Heart Quest, a rite of passage where each young adult was sent on a journey to uncover the true intentions within their hearts. Only those who returned with an honest answer to what lay within would gain the revered title of Heartkeeper, an honor that marked the end of youth and the beginning of adulthood. Emery, a young woman of 17 with dark curls and questioning eyes, was next in line. For as long as she could remember, she'd heard tales of the Heart Quest, each story more remarkable than the last. Some described it as a gentle, reflective journey, while others hinted at trials and revelations so profound they were rarely spoken of again. Emery wanted to face her truth, but was also deeply wary of what she might find. Still, she was determined to start her own quest. The morning of her departure, Emery's father clasped her hand, his eyes serious but gentle. "Remember," he said, "the Heart Quest is about honesty. If you look away from your truth, it will elude you, and you'll return with nothing. Let your heart be your compass." Armed with only a small leather pouch of bread and water, Emery set off toward the mountains. The path was long, winding, and silent, save for the occasional birdsong. For hours she walked, her mind circling with questions. What would she find? Was her heart full of goodness, as her family had always told her, or something else entirely? As dusk approached, she spotted a faint glow on the horizon. She followed it to a clearing where a weathered, silver-haired woman sat by a crackling fire. The woman looked up as Emery approached and gestured for her to sit. "What brings you to the woods, child?" she asked, her voice soft yet firm. "I'm on my heart quest," Emery replied, unsure if the woman would understand. The old woman nodded knowingly. "Ah, the quest for honesty. I remember it well." "You've been on a heart quest?" Emery asked, her curiosity piqued. "Oh, many times," the woman replied, her eyes twinkling. "Life has a way of making us question what's in our hearts over and over again." She stirred the fire, the embers glowing bright. "Tell me, child, what do you hope to find?" Emery hesitated. I want to know what's truly in my heart. I want to know if I'm as good as people think I am." The woman nodded thoughtfully, her gaze steady. "You think your heart might be hiding something?" "I don't know," Emery admitted, the words tasting strange on her tongue. She'd never voiced her doubts to anyone before. "Sometimes I feel things I don't understand, things I can't name. It scares me." The woman reached into her bag, pulling out a small, tarnished mirror. She held it up, letting Emery catch her reflection in the firelight. "Look," she said, "and see if your heart speaks." At first, all Emery saw was her own face, young, apprehensive, but determined. Then, as she gazed deeper, she saw flickers of other emotions. Envy, anger, sadness, and a fierce, unyielding drive to prove herself. These were parts of herself she'd always ignored, tucked away out of shame or fear. She shivered, feeling the weight of them settle over her. "This is what honesty looks like," the woman murmured. "It's not always what we want to see." Emery pulled her gaze away from the mirror, her heart pounding. "But does that mean I'm not good?" "Goodness is not the absence of darkness," the woman replied. "It is the courage to acknowledge it and choose your path despite it." Honesty with yourself is the foundation of true goodness. As the night deepened, the woman taught Emery about each emotion she saw in the mirror. She encouraged Emery to embrace her doubts and fears, to see them as parts of herself rather than flaws. When morning came, Emery felt lighter. She thanked the woman, who simply smiled and pointed her toward a narrow path leading deeper into the woods. "Keep going," the woman said. "The journey isn't over." Emery continued on her way, feeling both humbled and renewed. She traveled for days, crossing rivers, climbing rocky hills, and navigating dark, dense forests. She faced harsh winds and hunger, but the knowledge she'd gained kept her moving. With each step, she grew more aware of her inner voice. On the seventh day, she stumbled upon a crystalline lake surrounded by wildflowers. At its edge was a young man about her age, also on a heart quest. He looked troubled, staring into the water as if it held answers he couldn't reach. "Are you all right?" Emery asked, kneeling beside him. The young man looked at her, his eyes heavy with worry. "I don't think I can do this," he admitted. "I'm afraid of what I'll find." Emery remembered her own fear when she'd first set out. "The truth in your heart isn't there to harm you," she said. "It's there to guide you." Together, they stared into the lake, and as Emery gazed into its depths, she saw reflections not of herself, but of those she loved, her family and friends. Each face represented someone who had touched her life. The journey was not just about her, it was about everyone who had shaped her. Her heart was a tapestry of those connections, woven together by love, doubt, joy, and vulnerability. She turned to the young man beside her. "What if," she said softly, "our hearts aren't meant to be perfect? Maybe they're just meant to be open, to feel, to grow, and to connect." The young man looked at her and a hint of a smile crossed his face. Maybe that's the only truth we need. As the sun began to set, Emery knew it was time to return. She'd found her answer. Her heart held shadows, yes, but it was also full of light, a mix of flaws, strengths, fears, and hopes. She had learned to accept the entirety of herself, and in doing so, she felt a newfound clarity. When Emery returned to Greendale, everyone greeted her. Her father took her aside, searching her face for answers. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked. Emery smiled, her eyes bright with quiet strength. "Yes," she said. "I found honesty, not the kind I expected, but the kind I needed." That night, the town held a celebration in her honor. Emery stood before them, a young woman who had come to terms with her heart. She was now a heartkeeper, not because she had a perfect heart, but because she had embraced it, all of it. Years later, she would share her wisdom. Don't fear what's in your heart. Embrace it, question it, and let it guide you. Honesty is not about being free of flaws. It's about understanding them. The tradition continued, weaving a legacy of honesty, vulnerability, and courage that grew stronger with each generation. For in Greendale, they believed in the essence of life. Thank you for joining me.
Hello again. As we come to a close, remember to like, subscribe, and follow us so you don't miss a single adventure. Thank you for spending this heartfelt moment with us. Until next time, we hope this story brought you a little peace as the day comes to a close.